Hey guys, welcome to Yoga Lattes with SJ, and if you are watching this at the time of it being released, then Happy New Year and may you have the most amazing 2025. So today we are going to be doing a fresh start workout. So this is a yoga workout and we are going to be using a Pilates ball, but if you don't have one of these, that's absolutely fine. You can always do this without, and you can do this anywhere with no equipment. So we're just starting here in a standing, bringing the feet about hip distance apart, and then starting to press the palms up towards the ceiling, interlacing the fingers. We're twisting to the right side, and then coming back through center, and then twisting left, coming back through center, floating the arms all the way down. And then you are just starting to take a moment here to come all the way down to a tabletop position. So finding a nice flat back here, lengthening out from the top of the head, out the tailbone. We are dropping into cat-cow. So inhale, gaze up, tailbone goes up, and then exhale as you round the spine, chin to chest, pressing the mat away. Inhale, dropping the belly, gaze up, tailbone up. Exhale as you round into the spine, chin to chest. Just keeping this going. And then when you're ready, coming all the way back through center, finding tabletop. Inhale, left arm goes long, right leg goes back. Exhale, coming back down, and inhale, switching sides, right arm goes long, left leg presses back. Exhale, releasing it down, keeping this going. We're just alternating from side to side, so you're just lifting the arm and the opposite leg just to a height that feels good. We can keep your core engaged, keeping length from the top of the head all the way out the tailbone, so you are looking straight down or gazing slightly forward, making sure that you are not bringing any tension into the neck here, and we are finding even more length out the fingertips, out the toes as we move through this, staying strong and coming back down. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, release it down with control. Switching over, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, releasing down. And switch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, releasing. And then on this next one, you're reaching the arm and the leg long, and then you're drawing the elbow to knee. And inhale, lengthen it out. We're staying on this one side. Exhale, elbow to knee. Making sure your core's engaged. Inhale, lengthen, arm and leg goes long. Exhale, elbow to knee. And inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthening it out, finding even more length, and exhale, draw it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach it out, and exhale, draw it in. Inhale, lengthening out, keeping that core engaged. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, draw it in. And inhale, reach. Exhale, drawing it in. Inhale, reaching. Exhale. And inhale, reach. Exhale. And releasing. Coming all the way back down. Let's go to the other side. So taking a moment here to find that flat back, finding tabletop, and pressing the shoulders towards the mat. Then we're starting to inhale, reach the arm and the opposite leg. Draw that knee to the elbow and keep this going. So as you inhale, you're lengthening out. Exhale as you draw it back in. Hips are directly pointing straight down, and your gaze is directly down or slightly forward, so you've got that length through the back of the neck. Seeing if you can keep your weight really even through that center line, so you aren't rocking around, you're staying really stable, and also making sure you're not locking out through that supporting elbow. Nice, and draw it in, and reach it out. Finding one more, and then coming all the way back. We are tucking the toes, starting to round through the spine, and tucking the tailbone, sitting back towards the heels. And then starting to untuck the toes, reaching the arms forward and sitting all the way back towards those heels, finding a child's pose. And maybe the forehead comes all the way down onto the mat, just taking some deep breaths here, in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. And then on your next inhale, just starting to come up onto the fingertips and gazing up, shifting forward, and then exhale as you sit back towards the heels and inhale, shifting forward, pressing the hips forward. Exhale as you round the spine, sitting back towards the heels. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale as you start to straighten out the arms and sitting back towards the heels. Inhale, shifting forward, pressing the hips forward. Exhale, tucking the tailbone and rounding through the spine. Chin comes to chest as you start to lengthen back towards those heels. And just any movement here, guys, it feels good into the spine. Maybe coming down onto the palms now and just taking a moment here to bump the hips to the left side as you start to gaze underneath that left shoulder, and then doing the same on the other side. So bringing the hips back towards the right as you gaze under the right shoulder, keeping that rounding into the spine. So bringing the chin to the chest and just finding length through the back of the neck, keeping that tailbone tucked under and just kind of sitting back towards one heel, then shifting forward and then sitting back towards the other. And then as you inhale, shifting forward, this should feel really nice. And then as you exhale, sitting the pelvis back towards the opposite heel. So just keeping that really nice C shape into the spine as you do this, and just allowing the shoulders to be away from the ears. And then we're coming all the way back through center. Inhale, gaze up, tailbone up. Exhale, releasing, coming back to your tabletop position. Coming to our first downward facing dog. So tucking the toes and lifting the hips up towards the ceiling, having a generous bend into the knees and just letting the heels soften down towards the mat. You might just take a moment here to bend through those knees and then straighten, coming high onto the toes, so kind of making a high heel here, lifting the heels up, and then you're bending generously through the knees as you bring the knees towards the belly, and then you are finding straight legs again, so lifting the pelvis up towards the ceiling, staying high on those toes, and you are bending and then lifting the pelvis up even higher as you lengthen the legs out, starting to soften the heels now down towards the mat and staying here, and then starting to circle the head around in one direction, letting the head be heavy, just a tiny circle here, relaxing through the jaw, relaxing the throat, taking some cleansing breaths in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. And then maybe starting to circle the head in the opposite direction, just allowing the hips to stay high, allowing length through the back of those legs, and then coming back through center. We're dropping the knees down, coming to a hovering tabletop, and then coming back to our downward facing dog. So inhale as you gaze straight down at your mat, bending the knees, hovering tabletop. Exhale, lifting the pelvis back up and lengthening through the back of the legs. Head drops down. Keeping this going, so you're just flowing from your downward facing dog to your hovering tabletop. So we want to keep the core engaged as you come to that position. You've just got the knees slightly lifted up off the mat in your hovering tabletop, and you are just making sure that you've got a nice long line through the back of the neck, so you're not lifting the head up and you're not really tucking the chin under. And then we are coming all the way back to your downward facing dog, staying here and taking a moment to shift the heels over to the left side and then coming over to the right side with the heels. And we are moving from side to side, so just alternating here. Heels come over to one side and then the other. So trying to keep length through the back of the legs as you do this, and then Coming back through center, bending those knees towards the belly, and then lengthening the legs back long again as you lift the pelvis towards the sky. Now you're starting to come all the way back down to the tabletop position, and then you're inhaling as you gaze up, tailbone up, and then exhale as you round into the spine, bringing the chin to chest, tucking the tailbone under. Inhale, shifting back, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog, lifting the hips up high, sinking the heels down. Inhale, shifting forward, hovering tabletop, keeping those knees lifted, and exhale as you lower the knees down, untuck the toes, sitting back towards the heels, bringing the head down, and inhale, gaze up, tailbone up, shifting forward, tabletop position, and exhale as you come back to your downward facing dog, sinking those heels, lifting the hips, head is heavy, and inhale, shifting forward and lowering the knees down and sitting back towards the heels. Exhale, gaze up, tailbone up as you inhale, exhale as you round through the spine, tucking the toes and then lifting the hips up towards the ceiling and lifting the heels high and then sinking the heels down, downward facing dog. Inhale as you shift forward to your tabletop. Exhale as you start to lengthen the arms forward, sitting back towards the heels, forehead comes down onto your mat, and taking some deep breaths here, in through the nose and out the mouth or out the nose. Taking some time to soften all the way down. You might have the knees together or you might have the knees out wide. Maybe rolling the forehead a few times over your mat as you take some cleansing breaths in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. On your next inhale, you are gazing up, soft gaze forward, and then you are shifting forward, dropping the front side of the pelvis down, gazing up, and then exhale as you sit back towards the heels, keeping that rounding into the spine, and then inhale, shifting forward, gaze up as you let the hips press forward. Exhale as you round into the spine and tucking the tailbone, sitting back towards the heels. Inhale, shifting forward, pressing the hips forward and shoulders away from the ears as you gaze up. Exhale, rounding back, sitting back towards those heels, lengthening the arms forward even more. And then on your next inhale, you're just starting to circle sweep the left arm all the way around. Gaze follows. Exhale as you place the arm back to its original position, and then switching sides. Inhale as you lengthen the arm up. Exhale, reach it forward, and inhale, circle sweep the opposite arm. Exhale as you float down. Nice. And then inhale, we're rolling the spine, coming all the way back up to a high kneeling. Exhale as you float the arms all the way down by your sides. Inhale as you lengthen up through the spine. Exhale, starting to twist over to the right side. So just twisting through the waist here, gaze is over that right shoulder. And then exhale, coming back through center and arms open out, palms facing forward. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, floating down. And you are twisting to the left side, keeping the hips square to the front of the mat. Exhale as you come back out of this. Inhale, sweeping the arms up through center, looking up. Exhale, floating the arms down and twisting, gazing over the right shoulder as you let the hips stay square so the pelvis isn't moving. Coming back through center. Inhale, sweeping the arms all the way up, looking up. Exhale, floating the arms down, twisting towards that left side, and then coming back through center. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, looking up. Exhale, hands come down, and you are finding that twist through the waist, gazing over the right shoulder as you start to twist even further. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale as you come over to the other side, gazing over the left shoulder and coming back through center. Palms facing forward, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, floating down, twisting to that right side and releasing, coming back through center. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, floating the arms down. and twisting to that left side and releasing. Arms come down, sweeping the arms up. Exhale as you float the arms down, twisting to that right side, gazing over the right shoulder, and inhale back through center, sweeping the arms up. Exhale as you twist to that left side, and inhale back through center, sweeping the arms. Exhale, floating all the way back down to your tabletop, tucking the toes under, and then untuck the toes, rounding into the spine as you bring the chin to chest, and keeping that rounding into the lower back as you sit back towards the heels. And then inhale, shifting forward and finding a tabletop, tucking the toes under, and then we are untucking the toes as you start to round into the spine and bring the tailbone to tuck under, sitting back towards the heels. Inhale as you shift forward, tabletop. Exhale as you tuck the tailbone under and tuck the toes, sitting back. Inhale, shifting forward. Untuck those toes. Exhale as you start to sit back towards the heels, finding even more length through the base of the spine. Inhale, starting to shift forward, tabletop. Exhale as you sit back towards the heels, keeping the toes tucked. And inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, untuck the toes, sitting back towards the heels. Inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, tucking the toes under, and then sitting back towards the heels. Inhale, starting to shift forward, and just any movement here into the spine, keeping the toes tucked under, and just finding maybe a twist through the waist, letting the head be heavy, taking some deep breaths. And then when you're ready, just coming all the way back through center, and just finding your weight even through the hands, through the knees, and then we are finding that nice tabletop position. So neutral pelvis, and you're pressing the shoulders towards the mat. You want to make sure that the knees are in line with the feet. So when you look down between the knees, you can't see the feet. And we are going to just rock the pelvis from side to side. So just staying in this position as you start to rock the pelvis over to one side, and then drawing it back and rocking it over to the other side. You might just keep length through the back of the neck, so gazing directly forward. And then we are starting to round into the spine, bringing the chin to chest, and as you keep that rounding the spine, just starting to sit back towards the heels. So you've got this really, really nice C shape here, keeping the arms nice and lengthened out, and then finding even more of a reach out the pelvis towards those heels. And then on your next inhale, just shifting forward, coming back through to a neutral spine tabletop. And then exhale as you round into the spine, bringing the chin to chest, tucking the tailbone, and sitting back towards the heels. And then inhale, starting to shift forward and coming to tabletop. And then you're rounding back, starting to tuck the tailbone, drawing the belly button back towards the spine, letting the head be heavy as you start to lengthen the arms forward, pelvis comes back. Inhale, shifting forward, tabletop. Exhale as you start to find a circle. So just circling the pelvis all the way around in one direction, just keeping it going. You might start by making small circles here with this, or you might make bigger circles. Maybe the head wants to kind of move around as well. And just finding what feels good, breathing deeply in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. If you haven't already, you might start to gently circle back the other way, reversing this. Maybe finding the pelvis sitting back a little bit more each time. You might find the belly rolling over the top of legs, a little massage into the digestive organs as well as the reproductive organs. Really nice reset for the entire body as well as pure relaxation here for the physical as well as the emotional. Finding those deeper breaths, and then eventually we're just coming back through center and taking a moment here, bringing the big toes together, knees out wide, finding the pelvis sitting back towards the heels, and then just starting to walk the hands forward as you find your child's pose. Maybe starting to soften the forehead down onto the mat. Just taking some breaths here and through the nose, expanding the belly out. And then exhale, 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 release. Everything melts down, the forehead melts. Everything softening, the hips starting to soften. Times. And then on your next inhale, softly gazing up and coming all the way to a seat. Now, if you do have a Pilates ball of some kind, you can use it. If you don't need that. Just going to start to come down onto the back and just take a moment here to bring the soles of the feet onto your mat, and then we're finding a butterfly position. So bringing the arches of the feet to come together, letting the outside of the knees fall out wide. Maybe taking your prop and bringing it underneath the head, or you might prefer to have nothing there and just let the back of the head relax into the earth. You might bring the hands to come to the inner thighs, or you might place them onto the front side of the hips, weighting everything down a little bit more, or you might just bring the arms out wide, finding an open heart and just starting to take some deep breaths. Movement here into the head and neck that feels good. It might be a little rock from side to side with the head. You might let the head fall over in one direction, and just allowing the side of the head to become really, really heavy as you find some lengthening out of the side of the neck. Feeling the back of the shoulders, relaxing the elbows, side of the hands. And then if you have got your head turned, you might just take a moment here to start to bring the head back up and through center, and switching to the other side, letting the head rest to the other direction. And then starting to come back through center, just continuing to relax down, everything soften, letting the back of the head relax, back of the neck, base of the skull, top of the spine, back of the shoulders, the upper back, mid back, lower back, pelvis, outer thighs, outside of the low legs, outside of the feet. You might take the hands to gently rest on belly, just starting to bring awareness to the rise and the fall of your tummy beneath the hands. And then when you're ready, just taking some time here to start to bring the soles of the feet back onto your mat, and release any prop that you might have behind the head, just bringing that to one side, and then just starting to lengthen the right leg long and drawing the left knee in. So you can do that, or you can also have a bend into that right knee, bringing the sole of the foot onto the mat if it feels a little bit too intense to have the leg extended. Just starting to draw the knee in and then starting to release it as you start to twist. So we're just drawing that left knee across the body and just finding a nice deep twist here. Starting to maybe bring the left arm out, and you might take the hand and place it on the outside of the leg, or you might just have the arm out wide. So just doing whatever feels really good here. Maybe the head rolls over into the opposite direction to what the body is going. Just taking some breaths here in through the nose and out the nose or mouth as we start to come to the end of our practice. This is an awesome practice to come to at the beginning of a week, maybe the beginning of the year in this case. Anytime you are wanting a reset, a fresh start of some kind, really great way to get everything moving again, getting the metabolism, the digestive system all going really well. Maybe you might rock the head from side to side a little bit, and then just starting to unravel and just taking a moment here to release both feet back to your mat, and then we're coming to the other side. So starting to draw the right knee in this time, and you can either straighten out the left leg, or you can have the sole of the foot on the mat, just lengthening the tailbone out, finding length through the back of the neck as you draw that right knee in towards the heart center, and then starting to gently draw the leg across the body, finding that really nice twist here. Maybe the gaze comes over the right shoulder. Maybe you've got the top hand on the outside of the knee, or you might have both arms out wide. Starting to find those breaths here into the side waist as you relax the pelvis, the hips, the jaw. Stay here for as long as you like before going about the rest of your day. It was absolutely beautiful to have you join me. Namaste.